you about the manual. Actually, we're not really completed 100%, but we are working on it. So this is now what we've got. This is the cover of this manual. 40 days HTM leadership training program, functional training center. This is the first cover of our manual. This is the first cover. That one, let me see. This one, and then this is like the second page inside. So we start with the picture, this one, and then it's gonna be in Thai language. So I'm thinking of it to translate into English, but maybe later, because it's the manual for Thai people, so we wrote it in Thai language first. This is like the preface. We write the information about the Tribal Messiah, the importance of Tribal Messiah, the definition of the Tribal Messiah. What is Heavenly Tribal Messiah? We put this in front because we want everyone who read this one, they really understand about HTM, not just only see the information and the process, but they have to really get the right attitude of doing the HTM. They all have to really get the right, the clear meaning of the HTM. So this is like the preface, and this means like what is the definition of the Heavenly Tribal Messiah, and here is like is the way to build the original family, or to bring back the original ideal family. And this is like the list of the importance of Heavenly Tribal Messiah. And then we also put True Father's pictures and True Father words. These words is like True Father said, before I go to the spirit world, I wish to see the world of Choniguk to really happen on earth, even just only one day. But how's that dream? It wasn't be able to accomplish, right? Our beloved True Father passed away before he even witnessed the Choniguk. So this is really like moving sentence that we all like to really stimulate all the people. So we also put the True Mother's words regarding the Heavenly Tribal Messiah. This is the True Mother's word when she spoke in front of all the leaders, and that time that she cancelled the meeting, all of the schedule, all of the convention, in order to repent and to really think to drive for the Heavenly Tribal Messiah. So these words of True Mother is really like serious and very strong, very powerful to make us really have motivation to do and to succeed in Heavenly Tribal Messiah. So we put some a few paragraphs of True Mother's words. And then this one we put also the meaning of the Heavenly Tribal Messiah. What is the meaning? What is the definition? And what is the value of the Heavenly Tribal Messiah? By Reverend Hyojeong. So we find it's really inspiring and it's really deep content. So we put the meaning. We summarize the meaning that he gave us the lecture that day, and we summarize and we put his words regarding Heavenly Tribal Messiah. It's quite a bit much, but not so much. So this is like the first step. Actually we didn't do fully according to the pattern, because somehow we adjust according to our own real situation. So this is like the main content. So the blessing ceremony, following up home group and workshop, leadership school, and then the champion work. So the first one, the blessing, we list out what we do in the blessing. Not just only the topic, actually we list out really in detail. If you can see, right, after number 1, number 2, we still have like the information after it. So it's like we go into the detail. Like the first is the team meeting. We meeting team and we plan about the place, and we also discuss to find the John the Baptist. And the second, in Thailand we do the books and we send to the local leaders and the provincial leaders. And the third, and we did it into the detail. We also went to the detail. So we divided into like 6 main points, and also in the very detailed like this. So here are all of the very detailed steps, and the next is the following up. So also we divided into the detail also. This one, and also the home group. So for example, this one. First we start with calling and confirming with the provincial leaders, because it's after the blessing ceremony, right? So we call to listen to for the feedback after the blessing ceremony, and then we had a meeting with our team, and also we prepare the materials for the 3-day ceremony. We get to meet the provincial leaders. After that, we make appointment for the place, and also we appoint the couples who are the participants in the blessing, in order to conduct the 3 days education, 3 days ceremony introduction, to let them understand. So this is all the detail about the following up. And the home group, this is the third topic. I'm sorry, it's quite small, the letters. So we start with also the meeting. So it's like every step we start from the meeting, because once we had the meeting, we go into everything after that. So meeting is like very important. It's like very beginning thing that we do, and then we connect again with the provincial leader. We follow them up. And this one, before we have the home group, for in Thailand we conduct the happy day. It's something like home group, but it's not that serious. We still don't have our family pledge. We still don't sing the Chonjuk anthem in the happy day, and we don't do the family pledge. But we do like singing holy song, not holy song, like singing like the unity songs or something like that, or just like reading like the words about ideal family, true parents' words, and also it's more like entertaining. And really, first we get to build the relationship with them, because if we suddenly start to do home group, sometimes the situation is like they still have fear, they still not so close with us, right? Because some of them, they were just invited by their friends. We didn't invite them directly. So in Thailand here we do happy day first, and then followed by the home group. But the happy day and home group activities is quite very similar, actually. So we also went to the detail. Like happy day, start with singing and also meditating. It's actually supposed to be prayer, but they still don't understand what is prayer. So we said to them to meditate, and then we also read Father's word, and we give them like kind of let them group up, and then set like the vision and write like the vision and mission form. And then we also have the next appointment every time of the whole group. So this is the fourth topic, the workshop, like leader school 1. So after the home group, they're gonna start the more content, the deeper content. So this period, we're gonna conduct the 3 days workshop, 3 days DP workshop based on different Walakam's content. So we also had like the meeting, and then we sent the documents to the provincial leaders to mobilize the people. And most of the people we already really close, because we had home group very many times already. So we just called them sometime personally. So this is the process to prepare for the 3 days workshop. So we have like this one, the registration, and then start with singing the song and the entertaining team, and also introduce our team and the lecturer. Yes. So and then yeah, we also make the light group in this process. So I'm not gonna go to so much detail. So now is the champion word, also step by step. And now the period of preparation. So this means the 2 weeks before the event. So 2 weeks before the event, before the blessing, we had like a meeting, and then like something like we also go through the detail. Yes. And this is like the first week before the event. This is very detailed, it's more inside. And this is even more detailed. This is the day before the event. And this is the first week before the event. So, and this is the actual day. It's the day of the blessing ceremony. So this we start with registration and greeting, and also lecturing about the family is the school of love, and we sing the national anthem, and we open the family federation video, and we give the opening remarks, opening speech, and we have like a group photo and have like some other activities following, like blessing, the holy wine, the holy water, something like that. And this actually, we're not so completed yet, but we are nearly completed. For the preparation time, for the other process, like the follow-up, we didn't do video. For the preparation period, we did only the blessing, because our style in our working, the follow-up and the other step is we already put and in the detail, and sometimes it's not like actually, how to say, it's not always to be in front of before 1 week, right? For example, follow-up, sometimes we just finish the blessing, we follow up Saturday, the day after tomorrow, something like that. So we didn't write like for follow-up, we didn't write like 1 week before or 2 weeks before, we didn't do that. And this is like something adding is for the benefit. It's like the 40 days content that we have gathered. Yes. This is actually added more. This is about the 40 minutes. So to be the benefits to be the information for the readers who read this manual. So we put also like the content of the lecture. This is about the blessing, the lecture in the blessing. About the 40 minutes lecture. And also we put something like the tradition. Yes. And this is the MC script. We put this information for the readers so that it can be beneficial for them. So, yes, and then I think this is the 3-day ceremony. It's like a summary for the tradition, the family page. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you very much.
Brothers and sisters.
Good evening.
Well, I was wondering, what's our Sunny brother doing, you know? And our brother Sunny and sister Wanika were crazy busy, you know? My goodness, and I saw the manual, I was mesmerized. Wow, so why don't we give a round of applause to our brother? So I didn't manage time to prepare a lot of contents like our brother did. So I will just show you the simple things that I have made. So we have the contents. Okay, so regarding the blessing ceremony, we have just made the chart, like you can see there, the pointer. Well, it's just simple. See, anyway, just as our sister she designed the table. In the same way, we have built our events. So this is the timeline. For example, this is a blessing program, blessing ceremony. So before the main event day, so there's timeline a month before the event. So what we do that time is general meeting for blessing program. So the core members will just gather there and they plan. So what to do, and just a month before the event. Anyway, so they have another meeting there, and this time they make confirmation. They confirm the budget, they confirm the goal, they confirm the date and venue, and they prepare who will be the MC, lecturer, cultural performance, everything they are going to confirm in that period. And again, we have so 2 weeks before the event, there must be preparation for flyers, banners, and OD items. We need to confirm that whether they are prepared or not, and we need to continue witnessing. And in this phase also we need to start witnessing and continue witnessing. And a week before event day, so just a week before the event day, and we need to prepare certificates, token of love, and still we need to continue witnessing. And again, we have to confirm technical person and media, sound system, carpet, other things. So 2 or 3 days before the event, so we have like preparing multimedia things and preparing the decoration material. And a day before the event, so we have to visit the venue and just decorate and prepare the venue. And in the event day, so we have welcome, restriction, blessing, all of the program is there. So we have another slide for that. And even after, when the event day, when the blessing program is finished, then again we follow them up. So this event day. So this is the schedule. It's not it's just a draft, and we have to schedule it. So for example, on the blessing event day, the members, core members will just gather at 8:30. They will prepare stage decoration and preparation. They will just be busy there. And 9:40 to 10, they will be welcoming, registering, and photo shooting there. And 10 to 12, and they have all the internal things there, as you have already experienced. So this is just the contents, but I haven't made it in video. And there's the stuff that we need, like welcome staff, resident staff, MC, VIP, everything there. And there we have items that we need. No, the thing is, there's so many things to fill up. You are feeling that, right? Okay, so this is for the blessing ceremony, and this is the schedule. So we have follow-up education. So we need to follow the couples who have participated in the blessing ceremony. So I have just made the schedule. We need to follow this thing. For example, 6 days after blessing event, 7 days. First week, second week, third week, fourth, fifth. If we multiply this, it's gonna be like 42 days, right? So the thing is, when we conduct blessing program, and we shouldn't leave them. I thought that our team thought that we shouldn't leave them for 40 days, but we need to have continuous follow-up, and that's why in the first week, what we will do. So in the first week, we will be giving them like happy day. We will be, giving them like power of positive words. In this happy day, we will be talking about that things. So we just want to inspire them and make them connected. like in the second week, we'll be talking about family tree. Third week, we'll be talking about Hyojeong and evil man. Fourth week, Messiah, the hope of life. Actually, we are going to make this content a bit, secular. We are not going to make it deep like the DP. And this is fifth week. There's any content, we can give any inspiring content to them so that we just we can make them hook with us. And in the fifth week, so this is in the fifth week, we reached to like 41 or 42 days, and they just complete their 40 days that time. And that time, we have to give them how to become a blessed family. And for that thing, we have like principle of creation, restoration, and 3-day ceremony, part 1 and part 2. We give them that education. And you can see this yellow and this blue. This is home, right? And this is like school. So you can understand this thing later. And when they participate in this thing, they can become like supporter, they can become like a registered member, and they can become, in this place also, they can become supporter, or they can become registered member. So this is just the general chart. This is for follow-up system, and I haven't made it in detail. So regarding the home group, I really need to think deeply about this thing, so I haven't prepared it well. So I don't have any comments for this thing. And okay, so I have moved to workshop, so literary school. See the thing here. Okay. So in this part, I haven't scheduled what to do, but I just have mentioned what is the step. For example, literary school 1. So you can see the yellow part. This is home group. And the blue part, this represents school. So these are the contents of HTM school. Anyway, so in this literacy school, this is the literacy school 1, and there you have their standard is like supported registered member. And first day, for example, we will celebrate like happy day for 1 to 3 times, and we have the contents what to talk in that happy day, and we do blessing workshop. And at this time, we give them simple contents of the principle. And in the second part also, so we have the same thing, happy to have simple contents to inspire them. And in the second day, the second part we'll talk about God's love. And so we have literary school 2. Especially literary school 2 is mainly focused on creating associate and regular member. Regular and core member in the second phase. It has 2 phases. And in the happy day 7 and 9, because we have already celebrated 1, 3, 4, 6, and this is 7 and 9. And in this part, we will be talking about life of faith, worship, offering, meaning of Hyojeong, life of tithing, blessing, inherit God's lineage, witnessing, sharing happiness, and other contents we can put there. And in this phase, it is a bit for one. That's why, as compared to this one, this is more internal. You can see that thing, right? And in the second part, we are focusing to make them regular or core member. And that's why the contents are designed that way. So in this part, management works. So we need to give them the education of course, home group. Home group education, what and why, vision and mission, everything. We need to educate them in this literary school too, in this part. And 2-3 days depend principal education. We need to give them this education so that we can make them regular or core member. And everything, like principle of creation, fall and message to life course. And finally, literary school 3. So literary school 3 is mainly to produce 4 home group leaders. That's why you can see there, right? So this is regarding the literacy workshop, and we have the contents here. These are the things that we have to provide. So this is regarding the workshop, regarding the literacy school. I think you need much more, right? But I have prepared just this one. And finally, the Chongpyeong event. So again, as the same part, we have designed the timeline there. So before 3 months. So we are preparing from 3 months before the event. So these are the things that we need to meet for that confirmation. So everything is in order, like in timeline. So like 2 months ahead of the event, what we should do, and 1 month before, everything is designed and put in the timeline. So and here is the a day before the event, And there is the first day of the event. We have Hyojeong event for 2 days. And this is the first day, this is the second day here. And we have the stuff that we need here. And still I haven't filled the things that we need. So only few things I have put in there. And this is the chart of confirmation of number of participants who are attending the Hyojeong event. So each month, like 2 months before, we need to confirm how many persons wants to come, how many have registered, and like how many are confirmed for like gold, with paper, like I think so gold, silver. And each month we need to confirm. Each month we need to confirm like this. And we are here. In the first day of the event, we will do the inauguration, everything there. In the second day, we have all the process there, also in the second part. And still, after finishing the Hyojeong workshop, we will, hook them. We will connect with them and try to put them in home group. So this is the schedule of the first day of the event of Hyojeong. So as you are already used to it, so I don't need to explain much, I think. So it is in the timeline and the things that we need to do and the things that we need here. And this is the second day. Again the same thing. The timeline there and the activities that we need to do and the stuffs that we need and the items that we need. So though it is not much detail, we really need to work together and make it more better. So this month, thank you.
So for my team, we didn't make the PowerPoint, but we make the Excel. Okay. Because we have many things we want to detail, that's why we make the Excel just like this. Okay. Can you see? Yes. Okay. Okay, this is the first, we're talking about the blessing. So we have the periods and what I do and what is needed. And then 2 weeks before, we explained about the blessing, with district leaders and guest support. So according to the Cambodia, we need to explain about our purpose to the district leader. Let the district leader know about our purpose and then let them to support our activity. And then we prepare, we invite document. And invite community leader where we can hold the blessing ceremony. And then we prepare a document. We not just talk directly to the district leader or the local leader like this. We need to make the document and then send to them also. And then we invite, through the district leader, can invite the community leader and where we can hold the blessing ceremony. And also blessing. 2 weeks before, blessing material preparation and bookings, the lunch for participants, and yes, and all these things. Mr. Hen, I call Mr. Hen, this is my leader. He's the region leaders, kind of the north part of Cambodia. He taking care of the north part of Cambodia. His name Hyojeong, and his wife he will respond about this. And also the blessing material preparation has the scarf and tamnam stick. And 1 week before, community leaders should hold meeting with all village leaders. Because after the district leader know about our purpose very well, also they will announce to the community leader. The community leader will invite all the village leaders to have meeting and to let. Through the village leader, we use the village leader to invite the participants to join our blessing kind of 430 couple. Yes, and 1 week before we have meeting, village leader to announce the blessing, get the ticket of participant village leader. The tickets mean we are our FNWVU, we will make the ticket. And then we give to the, for example, we want 430 couple come to join. That's why we need to make the ticket, 430 ticket. And then during we have meeting with the village leader or community leader, we give this one to the village leader, and then let the village leader to invite the participant, and then give their ticket to the participant. And then when the participant come to join our blessing ceremony, they need to bring back the ticket. That's why we easily no need to write down when they come, no need to write down. We just get the ticket, and then we can know all of them. And also, we decide three religion leader by village leader. So village leader will have the responsible to find the religion leader. And then we invite the VIP announcement of the blessing to the governor. Yeah, we invite the governor also to come to join our blessing ceremony. And we invite the lecturer. Yeah, I put the name, we put the name Mr. Lamoti and Dr. Henry Chandra to be the lecturer and the Manual reservation. And 3 days before we check the village leader, how many couple can join. 3 days before we check again to the village leader, because we want to make sure. We want to make sure with the village leader how many couple that can join in if that area not fulfilled. For example, if we give the responsibility to one village 50 couple, and then that village cannot fulfill just 30 couple, and then we can have them to give responsibility to the other village. Maybe not. And then we prepare the ceremony. They prepare the document and decide the 3 spiritual leader, my village leader, and decide 2 attendant sisters. We need 2 attendant sisters that they have the responsible on the stage near the officiator. Yes. And also 3 days before also we prepare the speech for the governor on the script and blessing vows and program. And one day before we set up the venue, kind of stage or coordinator or technician, we set up everything. Okay, really fast. And check necessary material, kind of banner to print picture and everything that we need to do the blessing ceremony. And even they purify the venue with holy stuff, prepare holy juice, holy water. I think this is we write down the English. It's easy for all of you to see this one because we not so much time. I need to fast. So this is we make the detail the blessing during the blessing ceremony. This is the program. We start to registration 8 o'clock, and then agency will come by and see and prepare program lecturer from on family, school of love. Yeah, this is program. This is you can see. Yes, until 10, until 11:30. Yes, and the last we have the unity food together. So maybe a little bit different the Thai side because the Cambodia after we finish the blessing ceremony, we have the unity food together with the blessed family. Yeah, this is the blessing. Yeah, now we go to the follow up. Yeah, follow up. So after going back to the Cambodia, after we go back to Cambodia, we do the connection. We read the divine principle 1 hour 100 times. So together with HTM coordinator, yeah. And this is 1 week after the blessing, we invite the 50 couple of the community leader and village leader to have day seminar in the morning and afternoon. So after 1 week, we invite some blessed couple, kind of 50 couple, to have the seminar together in the community hall or district hall. And then on the seminar day, half day seminar on the value of the blessing, 40 days celebration, and 3 days ceremony. If some couple with Tanam ceremony, they can do this time also. And as the sun comes, inform the June activity. That means in the sun come we not only talking about the family. Also we can say about the June. We can witness the son, the daughter through this kind of meeting also, because we want to organize other things also, kind of 21 day workshop also, when they workshop with the child. That's why we can witness through the black couple or black family also. And then we make the name list who agreed to do 40 days celebration and the 3 days celebration. we make the name list for them, we make sure with them. And on the 37th day of 4-day celebration, yes, we call them again, we ask them again, seminar, half-day seminar, 3-day ceremony at the communion hall and the work material for the ceremony. Also decide the date of the 3-day ceremony because they already 37 days, still 3 days more, they can fulfill the 40-day celebration. That's why we have the seminar workshop with them. We set up the data when we can do the 3-day ceremony and where we can do the 3-day ceremony like this. Actually, they are in Cambodia, in the district, we not so much have the hotel, only guest house. They can enjoy the guest house. And the next day for the 3-day ceremony, can touch whatever they complete or not. So we can touch them again. If they cannot fulfill, need to go back again and do again. Yeah, this is the responsible HTM coordinator. And as soon as possible after 3-day ceremony, visit each family who completes 3-day ceremony and teach the follow tradition. And if they, after they finish the 3-day ceremony, they fulfill, we can teach them again about, let them to follow about two-parent tradition. Yeah, next, home group. Yeah, home group. 2 weeks before the meeting, we prepare the whole document to Khmer. Because now in Cambodia we have only English, that's why we need to translate to the Khmer in Cambodia. Yeah. 1 week before, we set up the Hyojeong connection to make this thing. We set up the Hyojeong, our TV set up the Hyojeong to make the relationship, to find the joint parties. And the meeting day, to make master home group among our joint parties. Kind of 3 master home group. We put the name Mr. Lamoti, Mr. Hongwirat, and Mr. Yanbei. This is the master home group. And then when we set up them, we let them to multiply, to have a good relationship, to multiply. And last 1 week, Hondoke gathering practice, sharing weekly goal, setting and reflection and result of the weekly goal. And also the repeating Hondoke. This one Hondoke is, yeah, Hondoke meeting every week, and we see other HTM blessed family when they find joyful and grateful to learn two parents' word. So I'm sorry also because the time not so much, that's why I'm not explain well. You can see this. And then workshop. Yeah, we have 3-day workshop. Yeah, we translate to the Cambodian language, and then 3 weeks before we organize leadership, lead the school workshop. Yeah, this is lesson the Reverend Hyojeong and my leader and our HTM leader, we will organize by this. And 1 week before we invite the blessed couple through the community leader. Yes. So everything we just use the community leader, we work together with the government. That's why if we directly to ask the black couple, we feel no power. That's why we need to use the community leader or village leader to invite the black couple, kind of 20 couple. Our what we did engage 20 couple. And also on the day, 3-day emergency call at my center at the office, lecturer Mama and me the translate, and what we did to arrange the sleeping area. And also, we not just let them to come just free for them, we let them to pay kind of register fee, 1 couple $20. And then the first day, this is the program. I think you can see this kind of the specific breakfast. Yes, this is the program. The last one, which okay. So we set up the goal, how many participants, how many missing paper they will shoot to sell. So this is the first we need to set up. So set up 2 or 3 months before. So our goal we want 1,200 because why we need the small number like this, because we want to do with the quality, we want to do with the home. Yes. what is it called? One district, we need to have 150 participants. And then one commune, we need to bring 170 couple and prepare the document to inform Hyojeong event to 4 district leaders. Half-day seminar for the 30 commune leader, village leader in one commune. And also for HTM coordinator give the presentation and order missing paper to IHU. And 1 month before, we invite the people through the village leader to have day workshop in the commune and sell the missing paper, give the guidance of Hyojeong condition of 21-day registration form. Kind of we have the work after we have the workshop with the local leader. Also we let the local leader to invite the black family, and then also we make sure with the black family kind of a seminar, half-day workshop to explain well about why we need to do shopping, why we need to do Hyojeong, and why we need to do like this and that. We need to make sure with them, and also that time we can sell our business paper that time. Oh, okay, 1 minute more. And 2 weeks before, booking the venue, hotel, guest house, and city town real bus. And 2 weeks before, and 1 week before, we bring out the banner, prepare and check it, everything, and prepare the MC script, and assign the rule of the ceremonies among joint parties, couple, blessed family, and to make the name list of participants. And 3 days before, change the venue. 2 days before, we prepare decoration, practice Hyojeong, and the venue set up kitchen for 1,200 people by community. And 1 day before, buy snack, water, and flour, and everything. And pick up people the bus. For example, tomorrow our program will start. So today we need to pick up the people, and they can come the evening time, and then they can dinner at the station. This is our program. So we have so many days, but we on time with this. So I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Our team, I request. Just a minute.
Brothers and sisters, elders, good morning. So I am happy to see your very sleepy eyes. And this is the result of our brainstorming for the whole day. And let's go. Philippine HTM Manual. Oh. And this is the contents of our manual. First is we divided in every event. We subdivided it into 3 main topics, which is first the preparation stages for the blessing, flow chart of the blessing, and then blessing activity module. Okay, let's go. And the list of the events, first the blessing ceremony, you can see there, follow up, home group, workshop, Hyojeong activity, and flash. And the blessing ceremony, the preparation for the blessing activity, what are the things that we did there? We put all here, details, invitation, mobilization. You can see too, transportation in charge of VIPs, financial management, documentation, etc. Okay, you can read that one. And then still many, until maintenance. So, still we have flow chart for the blessing activity. Okay, we make like this. Weekly flow chart of the blessing activity. So this is the 1 month preparation for us. So in week 1, we have the mobilization period. First is we gathered of the facts people, etc. Week 2, partial confirmation of the PR, etc. Final venue starts at the conducting blessing seminar. And week 3, you can see the partial confirmation as well. And then week 4, the final confirmation of facts of VIP attendance, partial name list. And week 5 is the list of final confirmation. That's the last week. And then we also have transportation. And then you can see the planning stage, the processing of the transportation documents in week 3. And then week 4, the number of the jeepneys. And then the printing of the signage, etc. is week 5. So you can see the sequence. And then of course we have finance. This is the most difficult, but anyway. Week 1 and week 2 receiving the budget proposal and request. And then of course week 3 and week 4 finalization of the budget request, releasing, etc. And week 5 is the budget designation in each committee. So you can see there, and you can also see here the documentation illustration. Okay, you can see the process numbers like that. And program director and the secretariat, and the attendant and marshal, publication and printing. So there's a stage in one. And then the blessing activity module. We also put this one so that we can easily see which who are the committee there in invitation and mobilization, the responsibility, invite couples for the blessing event, and then the timeline is 15 to 30 days. And then the key stuff is that we just put the stuff one there. So, and anyway, we put also the materials, the flyers, lecture materials, blessing form, blessing name list, and 40 days, etc. So it follows by the transportation, the same thing, we put the responsibility, we put the timeline, and we put the key stuff, and also as well as the materials. And then finance, documentation, etc. And here, like that, until we finish. And this is only for the blessing activity. And next is the follow-up program to be presented by our most beautiful sister, Sister Jessa. Let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, continuation for our Stevie. So after the blessing ceremony, so we have our follow-up education for the 430 couples. So we have preparation for the follow-up education. We have also the flow chart for the follow-up education, and the next and last is the education module. So after the blessing ceremonies, we have the visitation within 40 days purification period. So purification period means also known as a separation period within the couples. Then the first lecture, so within 40 days also. You have also second lecture to this lecture, third lecture after this lecture also, and we have fourth lecture of continuous education. And this is the flow chart of our education. Step 1, first lecture within 40 days. Then you can see so the step 2 after the 3-day ceremony. Step 3 also we have 2 days lecture about the forming of Trinity, and 4 is the continuous education. And so this is the calendar of activities within the 40 days. And so this is the legend from you can see in our first slide. First visitation, second visitation, church, second lecture. That's all. And this is the follow-up activity module from the first lecture. We have also the responsibility for the key person, timeline, key staff, the materials, and remarks. So you can see. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. So after our holy blessing, the crazy 4:30, and now would be the bloody battle. And this is the after education or during education. This is how we could establish a very important element in tribal, and this is the home group. So welcome to our home group system. So this is our vision, mission, and goal. So we have this first. And then, this is also our planning activities. So this would be the planning, which is the 4 W's and 1 H. And then, also, this is the schedule. So actually, we decide to use Reverend Hyojeong's advice, that is the 4 cycles, which is 4 months also. So this is the first month that we're going to do or establish home group. So this is November 1 to 6. So in order for you not to be confused. So this is 1 week, so home visitation, coordinator 1, 2, 3, and tribal area, and then person in charge is coordinator 1 and materials, and also the topic. So as you have your schedule, also we are really busy. So in order for us to remind, so we have to post a calendar. So you can see the overview schedules and activities for the month of November. So our follow-up education and establishing home group is for the month of November. So you can see the data here. So originally the time that the Blessed Family has is Saturday, right? Because their Sunday is there, going to their own church. So this is our calendar. So after that, we need also budget, right? So this is the budget, number of day, and what would be the things to do, and who would be in charge, where, amount, and finally, total. So everything would be computed once you input your amount, okay? So don't be confused. So after that, this will be also the schedules for the next month. So this is the December again, and this is the calendar, and this is the budget proposal again, and the schedule again. So this is for the month of January overview and also budget proposal. So schedules and activities for the last month for 4 cycles is the February. So this is the budget proposal again. And then after the 4 cycles, so this is the next level of their education. So what to send our 3 home groups to HTM leaders, School 1, and multiplication of new home group. So what we focus here in home group is just we establish 3 home groups, okay? So who? Blessed families, BAPs, and coordinators, where HQ and tribal areas. 4th week of the month, HTM leaders school. So that is their schedule. And have home group scheduling system and send to HQ. So let us work together to fulfill Vision 2020.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. So this is the manual for the HTM Leaders School. So we did 3 contests. HTM Leaders School 1 contest. So day 1, day 2, and day 3. We adopted the lecture of the module of Reverend Warak. So same, because we believe this is very applicable in the Philippines. And for the HTM Leaders School 2, so home group, it's all about home group, and also the Part 3, Thailand's best practices in home group. So from our workshop, we wanted to adopt the practices of Kalasin, Buriram, and Surin provinces' best practices. Sorry, because we don't have enough time. And HTM Leaders School 3 contents. So we have 2 days. So HTM Leaders School 1, 3 days, and Leaders School 2, 2 days, and Leaders School 3, 2 days as well. So day 1 is well coaching. Module 1, 2, 3, and 4, and day 2, Becoming a Heavenly Tribal Messiah. This is the lecture of Reverend Hyojeong. So because the goal of HTM Leaders School 3 is to encourage our HTM members to become VHTM, or to fulfill their own 430 couples. And this is the 6 months schedule of HTM 1 to 3. Our goal is to fulfill the HTM 1 to 3 within 6 months. So this is the HTM 1, 2, 3, the green and the orange and the blue, this is the schedule. So 1 day, 1 day, 1 day. Because in the Philippines, it's very difficult to conduct 3 days for parents. They are very busy. So there. And who can join the HTM Leaders School? So we have qualification, Leaders School 1, School 2, and School 3. So they need to complete 3-day ceremony and they have Trinity and home group. And School 3 attended the HTM Leaders School 2, leads master home group and organized worship service. So 2, like that. And workshop preparation and responsibility. Same with our other events. So this is very detailed. This is applicable for small and large scale of workshop, like 2 days or 7 days. So this is complete. We have director, workshop mother, lecturer, the responsibilities, team leader, secretariat. So we have timetable 3 days before the workshop, 2 days, 1 day, and during the workshop. So we can see finance, registration, fair. So, and for example, 1 day workshop designation, only for 40 to 50 participants. So we can only have like 9 staff or 7 staff. So like it's like multitasking. Fair. And we also have our sample budget proposal. So venue if needed to pay, and the general affairs workshop, they are totally 16,000 pesos, and source of fund registration fee will be collected from the participants, as well as fundraising and other sponsorship from tribal leader, HQ, support, etc. That will be all. Thank you.
Okay, so to finalize our activities on the Hyojeong event, so it covers 3 parts: preparation for Hyojeong activity, flowchart of the Hyojeong activity, Hyojeong activity module. So basically, what we have is this. It's like similar to what we did with the blessing that Flor presented. So it's almost the same thing. Okay, and then it's pretty much the same thing. We just change who will be the person in charge, what will be the things needed. So these are the things that needs to be prepared. And then next, the flowchart of Hyojeong activity. Like I said, a bit similar to what Flor presented earlier, but instead of weekly, it will be monthly, because it takes time to bring a lot of people for a Hyojeong event. So at least we think there should be a preparation time at around 4 months at least, in order to bring a lot of people for this event. So pretty much the same. You can see mobilization, transportation, finance, documentation program, secretariat, attendance, publication, and printing. It takes months. So we'll just follow this one for the Philippine side. And then steps for Hyojeong event. Of course, we need to mobilize the HTM area, follow-up education for the Hyojeong event. So this will also fall under the blessing and follow-up. We will provide lectures, the one that Mr. Lai gave. Also, we would also share about wish paper. And then, in order for them to be fully, committed to the Hyojeong event, there will be testimonies. Then, lastly, we will remind them about, because after liberating their ancestors, we need to remind them of the 100-day workshop, and then welcoming their ancestors after 40-day workshop in the spiritual, after blessing them, and continuous Hundok reading about Hyojeong providence and activities. So, so that's just the activity module, which is similar to the one earlier. We just changed a little bit, 4 months, 1 month before the event, and the things needed. So, that one. Thank you very much.
So that's all. Good morning, all leaders, brothers and sisters. This is a topic, HTM Manual of Cambodia. This is the table of contents. One, the purpose and target of HTM. One, the purpose of HTM. Two, true parents' words of witnessing. Three, target of HTM. Two, Outline of activity and flow chart. 1. Blessing ceremony. A. Subdivisions and value of blessing ceremony. B. Preparation of blessing ceremony. C. Organization chart. 2. Follow-up education. A. Purpose of follow-up education. B. Variety of follow-up education. 3. Home group. A. Purpose of home group. B. Variety of home group. Yeah. 4. Workshop. Purpose. A. Purpose of workshop. B. Variety of workshop. Yeah. 5. Junction activity. A. Purpose of junction activity. B. Variety of junction activity. C. Preparation of junction activity. D. Organization chart. Continue. Yeah. Have 3 important points. Yeah. 4. Reference of materials. Yeah. 1. Purpose of target of HTM. This is a purpose of HTM and target of HTM. Yeah. This is a picture of blessing ceremony. 2. Outline of HTM activity and flow chart. Yeah. 1. Blessing ceremony. This is activity and the table. Yes. This is organizational chart of 4 interface piece blessing Cambodia. Yeah. Follow-up education for blessed couple. This is activity in Cambodia, in other district, other commune. 2. Follow-up education. The meaning of 3 days ceremony. After Eve had a full love relationship with Hyojeong, she had a substantial conjugal relationship with Adam. It means Eve loved Adam physically by breaking up and destroying God's love. Therefore, Adam stood the position of being born under the influence of Satan's love. After that, Adam and Eve gave birth to children. That is to say, they gave birth centering on Satan's love, and which was inherited through blood lineage. This is the fall. Yes, you can see about yourself because we have a little bit minute and time. Preparation for the follow-up education. This is home group. Home group in other commune. Yes. Home group. Yeah. This is HTM meeting in Manual program. Preparation of this is activity also in district. We have workshop. Preparation of workshop. A translation of it. Lecture to Cambodian to Khmer. Lecture material education inform to class area district leader community. Organize coaching leadership workshop. Invite less problem. This is a jump shot activity. Yeah, thank you so much.
We don't have so much time, 10 minutes. So you can say like this. For example, purpose of blessing is this, and then variety of follow-up education, we found it this, and then like preparation, we stopped like this. Point was like this, like simply, but please say that contents one by one. Maybe you can finish at 10 minutes, I hope. Okay. Next team is Thailand, right? So how is Philippines? Is okay? Okay, welcome to Philippines.
Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning. So we're reporting on behalf of my brothers and sisters in Philippines. So this is their hard work. So I'm just a person to report their hard work. Sorry because it's almost time. In our group in the Philippines, so we've done everything, but we need to really clean everything also and edit everything about what we just made for manual. Okay, just sorry for our. Okay, this is it. So this is our cover of our HTM manual. Where is it? So Heavenly Tribal Messiah Activity Handbook, becoming a Heavenly Tribal Messiah. So this is how we want to the readers, if they will see this, they will also know how they will act and how they will do HTM activity when you will in the film. So first, we will discuss the meaning of the purpose, most especially the Tribal Messiah. This is that we also wrote. We put the True Father's prayer before he ascended to the spirit world. And then after that, we put also the preface so that every readers, if they read that, they will be ignited also and they will be empowered themselves to really work for HTM. And then we have also put some another words of True Parents, and then we put the content so that they will know. Like we put the preface, introductions, and first chapter 1, the purpose and target of HTM, like section 1, purpose of HTM, and then section 2, True Parents, words of BTC, and then chapter 2, outline of HTM. Like first section 1 in blessing ceremony. Section 2, follow-up education. Section 3, home group activity. And Section 4, about workshops like HTM Leadership School. And also Section 5, Chongpyeong activity. So in the chapter 3, Section 1, like the blessing, so the three, and also the chapter 3 important points like Section 1, Trinity, purpose of Chongpyeong activity, variety Chongpyeong activity, and preparation of Chongpyeong activity, and etc. And Section 2, John the Baptist, purpose of John the Baptist, and idea of how to find John the Baptist also. And Chapter 4, reference materials. So we also put that everything in the handbook, like the introduction, save and bring with you of all humankind who have been living a wandering life. Okay, just scroll down. And this is chapter 1. Okay, just scroll down. So, like section 1, as I said, that we put True Father's word about Heavenly Tribal Messiah. And also we put some completion of Adam's family in the Garden of Eden. That the purpose of Garden of Adam and Eve to become the Tribal Messiah also. No, not an ideal family. It's the restored Adam and Eve. And then, scroll down. And this is how we will work. So True Parents' words about witnessing. So we put everything so that the readers will be ignited to really work for Tribal Messiah mission. And this kind of handbook. And then scroll down. And we put also the section 3, the target of HTM. So who would be the person that we need to restore? So we put also, this is the True Father's words, according to the True Father's words also about HTM. Scroll down. Then outline of HTM activity, flowchart. So about the blessing ceremony. So we put also the meaning of blessing ceremony, significance and value of the blessing about the True Father's words. Okay, scroll down. Scroll down. And we put also how to prepare to conduct blessing activity or blessing ceremony. So everything we put there. And then blessing lectures, contents and topics. So it will be the topic if we will give in the lecture, if we have the blessing ceremony. And then scroll down. And then this is the flow chart of all the program and the steps, how they will work. And preparation like before and after. So before the event, so we make like 1 month in the blessing. A 1 month preparation, that the first week, second week, if you could see, so everything is organized, like the mobilization period, transportation and finance, and they have their responsibility in every week and days to come. Before the New Year's activity. So that will be detailed, like the staff, what we'll do is the first week, second week, third week, fourth week, and the last week for the preparation. So everything we will put how they will act in the mission field, so that they will not be it will be organized and they will not be go anywhere of their responsibility. And we also put the attendance marshals, publication and printing. So what they will do, every committee and staff during the blessing event, we need to put their responsibility, what they will do during that time. And then, during the blessing event also, so we put also responsibility and what they will do, like the committee of organization, transportation, finance, and then what they will need and materials. So we also put their timeline until when they will prepare their materials and what they need. And then we also put remarks if this is already complete, so that they will be the no. Then scroll down. Scroll down. This is only for the blessing. And all the like follow-up education also the same format. No? It's like a detail how they will act during the event. No? So it's really clear there. What registration, like I just give you a sample, like in registration. Takes responsibility in getting staff information of the all blessing participants and distribute the Holy Scar, guides the participants, and put the database during the blessing event, the registration committee. So next is about the follow-up education, how we will also prepare follow-up. Yeah, so anyway, we just finish like this a moment, but maybe tomorrow or this evening we need to put everything in one file, all our activity, because we, in our team in Philippines, we just divided the responsibility for making the follow-up education, making the workshop, making the Hyojeong, making the blessing event, blessing ceremony, and then also the home group. So we just divided our team. And what I shared to you about the graph just a while is also the same format. Yeah, all of us are the same. The responsibility, how they will work in the front line. And also inspiration of True. Like this follow-up education, like purpose of follow-up education, variety of follow-up education, and preparation of follow-up education and flow chart. So we also put True Father's word about what is education. True Father said, education gives us the power to live with new knowledge and objectives. Through the education, people acquire wisdom for living. Anyone who cannot read well and will be ignorant, no? Ignorant, but once educated, a person will know how to use his wisdom in the world to manage his own life. So that's the purpose of education, follow-up education. So after the blessing couples done their blessing ceremony, and then our team will gather the information and contact and gather for follow-up education by their leaders. Okay, let's go down. So variety of education, like we have training ceremony education, 10 modules to becoming regular member and also become also a kind of tribal messiah later on. So there's also the modules, and we put also coaching during the time. No? Education is part of the follow-up education. That this couple Sunday, it will be our perspective and our goal is this couple that we follow up education is also become an HTM. No? Victorious HTM, also put 430 couples. So we put also everything, how to conduct training ceremonies and education, even the significance and the value of 40 days separation. So we also put in there. And then this is the guide, how to conduct. So we put just everything according to the details so that if the reader, if somebody will do the HTM, they will know how they will work during the training ceremony, during the 40 days separation, what are the kinds of education that they need during those days of preparation, of separation period, or purification period. No? So we involved there. So let's scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, let's scroll down. So that's the guide. So we put that in a handbook. This kind of handbook is very useful to anyone who can be able to use. No? So if you have this handbook, you may be able to do your HTM by your own and find the persons and staff who can be able to help you. And then the important points also, we also put there. Because the important points is number one that we need also so that the reader, they need also to be informed the important points of making a tribal messiah. Like how to make Trinity and how, what is the importance of the Trinity system and how we will be able to find John the Baptist. So we need also to put there like how to find John the Baptist, how to identify John the Baptist in the area. So that if they will find out, then they will come out that, okay, this is how the John the Baptist will work. Okay? So we just put it there, how they will do the John the Baptist. I think I am time now. I'm already time, not yet. And we have this workshop. Purpose of workshop, it's the leadership workshop. Also, yeah, because I just scrolled down everything in the activity of the HTM. It's the same format since when I also present about the blessing activity. Like in Hyojeong, HTM leadership school, follow-up education, and home group. Also almost the same. No? So like this now, there's a flow chart of the activity. And we also put some if the HTM will handle also a workshop, we also put some samples. Scroll down. Scroll down. We put samples like workshop committees and their responsibilities, and then materials that they will need, and then scroll down. And then we have a sample program. If they will conduct HTM leadership school seminar, so they will make 1 day advanced seminar. So we put like 1 day and the schedules. And then we also put the contents of educational material for HTM leadership school. So we also put there. So that's why it's a really long work, hard work of my brothers and sisters that they will do. So this is also the lectures of Sir Warpon was given to us those weeks. Yes. So that the HTM, Victorious HTM will also work for that. And that's all. Thank you so much.
About the Trinity and the John the Baptist part?
Yes, we have.
Can you do it?
Yeah, this is it.
Only?
Like this chapter 3, important points, like section 1, I quote, Trinity. Section 1.1, what is Trinity? This is through Father's words. The Trinity is made with 3 men or 3 women in our church who create a Trinity to make the representative form of Adam's 3 sons and 3 daughters-in-law and serve of the Lord. And then it is through Father's words about Trinity. And then scroll down. And then section 1.2, purpose of Trinity. What is the purpose of Trinity? Why we need the Trinity system? This is the mission. The mission of Trinity is to be a good example in family and in the church that can be able to respond for the economy. The Trinity should be completely one, when there's a crack in the Trinity, the ideology of the kingdom of heaven is destroyed. So that's why it really need to have a strong Trinity system. And then section 1.3, kind of Trinity. What are the kinds of Trinity? So we have also home group Trinity. Then it's organized by its through home group system, a group of 3 family. Then blessed couple Trinity, a group of 3 blessed couple form a Trinity to fulfill the 430 tribal Messiah mission. And section 1.3.3, master home group Trinity, a group of Trinity to organize and safety coordinator multiplying home group leader. And then section 1.4, how to work Trinity, how the Trinity work in the community in the mission area. So I quote, if the members of a Trinity cannot make a mental unity, they cannot go to the kingdom of heaven. This is through Father's words. The ideology of the Unification Church starts from here. The 3 who cannot be united mentally cannot register in the kingdom of heaven and cannot even look around it. And centering upon the oneness of the 3, the minds of 12 people should be united into one. So we put the importance of Trinity and also scroll down about John the Baptist, how to find also. So we put there, this is through Father's words about how to work in Trinity. Section 2.1, what is John the Baptist? John the Baptist is the person who is capable of gathering many people and many followers, a respective person to the community like pastor, local officials, government officials, and etc. And section 2.2, purpose of John the Baptist. The purpose of John the Baptist is for the HTM is to become the mediator to the people and he is the person who can connect to many organizations in the community. That's the importance of John the Baptist. And also I quote that John the Baptist figure is setting up an area to the people that can be a great supporter in working the 430 couple blessing. And section 2.3, idea of how to find John the Baptist. Then to find the John the Baptist in this area, first you need to have a survey to the mission area, find the John the Baptist figure, invite him for a seminar or event that relating to our movement like Women's Federation for Goldfish, UPF, Family Fed, and other affiliate organizations in our movement. Make a contact and good relationships with the people who's under with the John the Baptist figure and find also a mediator to a person closest to John the Baptist figure, like a VIP person. And make a contact and network for that person. And then, and finally invite him over here in the blessing event together with his or her spouse to become also like a worker of HTM. And there are other things with reference like less of content materials we also put and MC script. Thank you so much. Okay, next.
Next is Thailand team.
Okay, let's give a big hands to Philippines team. Wow, really excited. So this is for Thailand team. This is actually the cover of the menu. The cover and the page inside. So this is the picture of our batch, and we put also the parents' picture in the cover. And we are trying to add more detail as much as possible as Boran-san has advised, but still some of the contents we are progressing, not really completed 100%. This is the True Father's words on witnessing. Yes, when you work in even when you work in a place outside of the church, you should have such a heart that you can pray to God. Let me manage to broaden your foundation here, True Father, and also True Father. Right? Witnessing should be preceded by heart. To witness, you should have so strong an emotion that you become a artistic magnet who can draw the minds of all people. And this, the true Mother's word regarding the Heavenly Triple Messiah. And this is the meaning of the Heavenly Trouble Messiah. We did in the work program. And this is through parents' word. Witnessing is like a second self. It would be no problem if you dedicate as much heart as a mother does to nourish and care for her newborn baby. The list of events. We start with the blessing, the significance of the blessing. And again, to parents' word, the marriage blessing is the most important moment in your life. When your lineage is changed and you become heavenly parents' child. And this is the rules of the blessing ceremony. This is the steps of events. Also in the details. And this is the preparation before the blessing ceremony day. The first one is the 3 weeks before, and 2 weeks before, and 1 week before, and 1 day before. We divide it into the detail. What do we have to prepare? And this is the equipment and the team for the blessing ceremony. Actually, it's very long. We are still listing. Very long, actually. And this is all the budgets for the blessing events and for the 3-day ceremony, and also for the HTM1, the workshop education. So the details and the amounts, the money, also very long, and a lot of money also. So this one is including 3-day ceremony also. Like here, you can see just the Hundok handbooks and like all kind of the tools that has to be used. And this is the MC script. All of the MC script. And this is the blessing timetable for that day, the blessing event timetable. And this is the follow-up, the steps you have to select for the best place for the education. And this is the stage of education. First, the stage of creating bonds and sympathy. Second, stage of divine principle education. Third, the stage of education about two parents' life course and thought. Because we have many levels of education, right? So fourth stage of education about traditions. Fifth, stage of spiritual education. Sixth, stage of education about self-sacrifice to let them become more leader and take ownership. 7, they're gonna have education of life as a place family. And 8, stage of practicing heavenly tribal messiahship. 9, stage of leadership. So this stage, the last stage, they're gonna be like the leaders, and they also will accomplish the heavenly tribal messiah. This is the two parents' word. Witnessing results depend on 40% on the spirit world, 30% on one understanding of the divine principle, and 30% on one's practice through Father. And how to use the education, textbooks, and social media. So this one we also apply according to Reverend Yun's teaching about the power of the social media, about the power of the multimedia. So this also very popular and worldwide using, because people are now using the media to educate. We don't have to just educate them when we are with them, but also offline and online we can educate them all the time. So this is the following pictures are the example of the education through the multimedia. And this is the leader school So I'm going quickly for this. It's all about this is the leader school one. It's all about the making home group, and this is the leader school 3. This is about the coaching. See well, do well, and be well. The strategy, the principle, this is the coaching principle. And then this is the Chongpyeong work. The purpose of Chongpyeong event. We also can add more detail about Chongpyeong. And this is the schedule from the Chongpyeong Asia Tour in Thailand 2017, the last year. So this is the schedule for the Chongpyeong events. And this is the adding materials. It's not in the formula for the manual, but we add according to what we have done in these 40 days. And so this is the useful manual that the leaders can get, because they can also know which content to give education to the people. This is the 40 minutes lecture in the blessing ceremony day about the ideal family. So we put this content. And also this is the 3-day ceremony. Things to prepare, the meaning of the 3-day ceremony, and the steps of the 3-day ceremony, the pictures. And this one is the tradition. We also add the tradition material, the importance of tradition, bowing, family pledge, the meaning, and this is each point, 8 points of family pledge, and united prayer, unity prayer, and Tundoke, the importance of Tundoke, and the different ways of Tundoke, and also the worship service, or we call family service, and this is tithing. The importance of tithing and the occasions of tithing. This is the community service. Yes, all the traditions. Yes. Thank you very much.
And I want more see, but let's see next time. Last team is Nepal.
Good evening, elders, and all the dear brothers and sisters. Good evening. Good evening. So why don't we give a round of applause to our hardworking brothers and sisters? A round of applause, everyone. Well, not good that was wonderful. So much investment we can see there. Anyway, so I don't have much. We just have the outline. This is like the first part, and if we want to go to the detailed part, we haven't prepared that thing. So this is normally the contents here, and so there goes. These are the two parents' words, and they also talks about the purpose and the purpose of this thing. So here we have designed the two parents. This is the last prayer of two parents. And this again we have why the heavenly travel Messiah is important, and this is the verse here. And again we have regarding the importance of heavenly travel Messiah here. And here you can see this is the words of two parents. regarding the value of witnessing, how we can witness, use what conditions we need to have in order to have good witnessing numbers. So that's the way we have through the two parents words we have designed the gave the purpose and the value of HTM program. And here through the two parents words it signifies the value and purpose of blessing. So again we can see two parents words here. Oh, and this is the blessing program, the schedule, the timeline, same as of yesterday, because it is already detailed. Just some things that we need to add, and everything is here, the items and the process already there. That's why I have to use this thing. And the blessing event thing. So the fall of education and the purpose, fall of education, everything in variety of fall of education. So the thing is, again, we have the purpose here. So the father has said why, in Johnson gave the father once said why we witness a lot of people, but many big amount of people come, but the same number of people go. That's why the father has very clearly mentioned is the problem there. And so I have a bit explanation here. We need education pipeline to close the back gate so that we can have good settlement ratio. And this is here, everything is well mentioned here, but just need to add something more contents that we give there, education contents. And regarding the home group, so what's home group and its purpose is simply defined, the main points are here. And the blueprint of home group, the things that we need to clearly have in order to run it well, regulate it well. And these are the types of home group, like master home group, member home group, software home group. And these are the multiplication process that we need to go through. So anyway, we have the leaders workshop, leaders school, and this main purpose is just to educate, and just to grow up, just to make new leaders. So the sole purpose is to educate, to raise up leaders. And we have divided everything in the chart as of yesterday. So the leaders school want what contents and what education should the leaders school want to give, leaders school do, what is this main purpose and what education should it give, everything is in detail there. So Chongpeng event, so purpose of Chongpeng event, simply the purpose is. And so variety of Chongpeng activities, we have 10 activities there. And this is the event, this is the time and the preparation period, everything is in detail. If you look at this thing, just look at the chart, wow, everything is here, I don't need other things. In the thing you got to have that kind of information. And this is the first day of the event, this is the second day of the event, everything is detailed, you can just see that and you'll know what the process is there, what things we need, how we need to function. That's why I'm not making it complicated. So 20 thing, just 20 was 20. And what's the purpose of 20? Why we need this and theirs? I have put through parents' words here. Does not like Mars alone. 20 must take in charge and operate the whole thing. We must work together, able to solve everything. So reference material, lecture, content, MC script, guys. Yes, so many things to do. Thank you very much.
Applies. Thank you so much for your hard work. So, from now, we cannot give you the time, like for making manual, but I will give you the limit. Limit to giving me your complete manual is day 3, next tomorrow, night time. So you can do by yourself using your time if you want. And then after I complete it, please give me, and then I will check, then maybe, yeah. So 3 November night, please give me your complete, if possible, as much as possible, complete manual. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I also surprised to see your results, your works. You are very hard work, and then we eventually could make a substantial object in the manual handbook. Without doing that, just even we learned many things we can apply in our areas, but. You can say this manual means that weapon. You understand? Yeah. Weapons. Without weapons, we cannot fight. That's why, actually, you also subsidization. You also can make this kind of handbook and manual is very, very important. Yeah. Even if the past 30 days. But already 30 days content you summarized and make us a compact, how can I say, intensively make us some kind of material you made. Wow. Anyway, during yesterday and tomorrow also, but this day also, without, usually the workshop or seminars, the meal time is very important. If somebody delayed the meal time, many people all of a sudden change the mode of Satan. And we are very angry and then so unstable, like that. But I witnessed you, even though lunchtime is past 30 minutes, nobody, so got angry. Very, very peacefully, you doing your job very wow. It's the first time. See the kind of situation. I report all stations to your central figures in nation. Anyway, so good. So again, happy new month. Yeah, already still November 1st. Today is correct? Yes. I forgot sometimes. You can say still. Happy New Month. Let's say together, 시작. Happy New Month. And let's make this month victorious thing. By the way, how are you? Are you okay? Yes. If you are okay, I want to show you one video clip movie. Not long. Only 40 minutes. If you join, if you want, I'll do. But some of you use personally speak. It's okay. This movie is a Philippines movie, and then Korean subtitle is why no translation, but you can feel everything. But Masmi Mama will help you. He directly translate to English. Not all sentences. Some of them for your understanding. That's why